Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
What's happening, family? Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it is politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, we're diving deep and keeping it real, so please do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. Look, on today's conversation, I don't know if y'all have heard, but recently CBS has announced that in 2026, it will be the last year of one of their most longest running shows. They will be ending it. The Late Show. Now, it's been hosted by Stephen Colbert for, I believe, a little over a decade. But it has been in existence on the network since '93. So why is it all of a sudden the show getting canceled? A lot of folks are saying, well, the same reason why programs on MSNBC was getting canceled. The whole reason why figures who might have spoken against some person in Washington is the reason why they're getting canceled. So we'll talk more about it here on the show. In addition to that, more meltdowns happening in MAGA land. We'll talk about it and so much more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. As always, my friends, thank you so much for taking 1 hour of your time for tuning into the Arrington Gavin Show. You can be doing so much, you could be doing something else, but hey, you take 1 hour to tune into the program. We got a big show for you, and we're hyped to, talk it. We're excited to talk with you as always. On this wonderful evening. Do me a favor, for those who happen to be streaming us, you know the routine. Like, subscribe, share with a friend. If you're watching us right now on YouTube, please share, like all the above, and I truly appreciate that. Also, you can stream us on the Goatverse TV app. Okay, Goatverse TV. It's available on the App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, as well as Amazon Fire TV. You can tune into, we stream on their platform on demand. That's a growing independent streaming network. Honored to be a part of it. In addition to that, you can also listen to the program. We're available on all major podcast platforms. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. And you can also listen to us on the radio airwaves. Shout out to our listeners in the New Orleans area by way of WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show Monday through Fridays at 7 p.m. Central Time. Again, that's only on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about. And then we're going to move it on to our listeners in the Metro Atlanta area by way of WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk. Monday through Fridays, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. So, fam, as always, thank you so much for staying with us, for listening to us. We are a growing show. And we the public has spoken, and they loving what they're hearing, and they loving what they're seeing. So we want to keep that momentum going. Do me a favor, y'all. If you're on social media, please follow us on our social media platforms. We're available on the on Instagram, Blue Sky, X, as well as Substack. So please follow us on our social media. We truly appreciate it. And just we talk. We have content that we share on our social media that we might not have the time to share on our program. So that's why I said please stay engaged with us on social media. Also, you can what else can I feel like I'm missing something here. Our website, www.thegavin.com. theagshow.com, www.theagshow.com. You can catch up on the latest episodes, as well as, look, send me an email, reach out to us, talk to us. If there's something you want to hear on the show, please reach out to us. Again, that is www.theag, I'm your guy, agshow.com. All right, my friends, before we get going, before we head to a commercial break, let's get it going with our fun fact of the day. You know, a tradition we love to do here on the show. So before we head to commercial break, let's go ahead and get a fun fact. So fun fact, being that we're going to be talking about the situation happening over at CBS. Again, I mentioned a little bit earlier about the origin, fun fact about the CBS The Late Show. It was originally it was started in 1993. The Late Show debuted in August 30th of 1993 with David Letterman as the host after his controversial departure from NBC's late night. So right then and there, boom, The Late Show was created. And I believe right after, right after David Letterman left, then it was time for a new realm, and that was Stephen Colbert. And Stephen Colbert is let's see, he started it. Yep, he took it over in 2015. So yeah, so that was your fun fact. If for those who are curious to when the Late Show, or excuse me, the Tonight Show, no, the Late Show, I'm sorry, when the Late Show first established, it was in 1993. Because I get them all confused. In all honesty, I get them all confused. You got the Late Show, you got the Late Show, you got the Tonight Show, you got all these other shows. It's too much. But we're gonna talk about it here on the Arrington Gavin Show. And so, look, do not go anywhere because it's gonna be juicy, y'all. It's gonna be a juicy one. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
What's up, y'all? Welcome now.
And we still in traffic.
I don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
With me?
Yeah, this that new GoatVerse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of that he said?
Introducing GoatVerse TV.
GoatVerse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In Goats, we trust.
Let me tell you something most people get wrong about suits. A suit isn't just about you wearing it. It's how you show the world who you are. It's your handshake before you say a word, your presence when you step into any room. That's why we design statements at Dapper Luke. We don't just make suits. We'll start with the fabrics that tell your story, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends sourced from the finest mills in Italy, the UK, and India. Then we'll combine that with your vision, your personality, and your style. Every detail is tailored to you, from the fit to the finish. Whether for your wedding, a gala, the boardroom, we specialize in creating custom suits that are unique, just like the men who wear them. We spent years perfecting this craft, apprenticing under designers in New York and showcasing collections in New York and for Baltimore Fashion Week. None of that matters as much as seeing the look on your face when you try on your custom suit. Over 900 clients have already trusted us to deliver the best custom suits. They trust me to deliver the confidence. We proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore and would be honored to bring your vision to life next. Let's create something unforgettable. Book your free consultation today at www.dapperluke.com.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
All right, my friends, welcome back. Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm your guy, Arrington Gavin. Look, first up on our headlines, as I mentioned earlier, sad news to hear about the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Let me go ahead and play you this soundbite here. This is a message that that Stephen had shared on TV and on national platforms. This has been going across all the social media platforms about the recent cancellation of the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. So let me go ahead and play you this soundbite, and then we'll discuss a little bit on the other side.
Oh, hey, everybody. We got a great show for you tonight. Senator Adam Schiff was my guest. We harmonized on 7 Bridges Road. What a voice. I cried. But before we start the show, I want to let you know something that I found out just last night. Next year will be our last season. The network will be ending The Late Show in May. And yeah, I share your feelings. It's not just the end of our show, but it's the end of The Late Show on CBS. I'm not being replaced. This is all just going away. And I do want to say that the folks at CBS have been great partners. I'm so grateful to the Tiffany Network for giving me this chair and this beautiful theater to call home. And of course, I'm grateful to you, the audience, who have joined us. Every night, in here, out there, all around the world, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. I'm grateful to share the stage with this band, these artists over here every night. And I am extraordinarily, deeply grateful to the 200 people who work here. We get to do this show. We get to do this show for each other every day, all day. And I've had the pleasure and the responsibility of sharing what we do every day with you in front of this camera for the last 10 years. And let me tell you, it is a fantastic job. I wish somebody else was getting it. And it's a job that I'm looking forward to doing with this usual gang of idiots for another 10 months. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
We're going to lock in.
Y'all ready?
Let's go.
Y'all ready? Okay. That's all I wanted to say. Dante, let's do the show. Jazz Cowboy, drop it on the poof.
So, yeah, you heard it right there. You heard it right there from the one and only Stephen Colbert. 2026 will be the last year of the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, but not just with Stephen Colbert. He said it will be the last time you'll see the Late Show on CBS. A lot of folks are saying this is exactly what the left was discussing as far as what Trump is doing with controlling the media narrative. We've seen lawsuits after lawsuits. We've seen a payout from ABC. We've seen MSNBC bend the knee by letting go some of their prominent voices on their network. Because here's the thing: at the end of the day, the way news networks work, especially on the prime time slots, is prime time. You have your journalist that is primarily opinionated, that they're going to have their biases. And hey, if you are on the opposing side of the president, then you're most likely going to enjoy that type of news. If you're on the side of supporting the person in office, then you're going to think they are a danger to society. Now, last time I checked, I ain't see any let goes happening in Fox News. I didn't see a lot of let goes happening on Newsmax. I haven't seen a lot of fires or take them away on a lot of the far right media networks, regardless of what they've said about Democratic elected officials. They do not let them. They don't fire them. We're seeing it different now on liberal media networks. We've seen how MSNBC went through a huge shakeup, letting go of some of their prominent voices. We've seen CNN do the same thing. We've seen, now we're seeing CBS, because look, Stephen Colbert was no fan of Donald Trump. a lot of folks are saying, you know what, the late night host had scoped at decisions by CBS parent company to pay the U.S. president $16 million over a disputed interview. Now, let me go ahead and find that that clip of what he shared. Give me 1 second as I find that for you. Hold tight, hold tight.
Parent corporation Paramount paid Donald Trump a $16 million settlement over his 60 Minutes lawsuit. As someone who has always been a proud employee of this network, I'm offended. And I don't know if anything will ever repair my trust in this company. But just taking a stab at it, I'd say $16 million would help. This settlement. This settlement is for a nuisance lawsuit Trump filed claiming that 60 Minutes deceptively edited their interview with then-candidate Kamala Harris last fall. Paramount knows they could have easily fought it because, in their own words, the lawsuit was completely without merit. And keep in mind, Paramount produced Transformers: Rise of the Beast. They know completely without merits. Now, unlike the payoffs from ABC and Twitter, Paramount settlement did not include an apology. Instead, that's good. Instead, the corporation released a statement where they said, "You may take our money, but you will never take our dignity. You may, however, purchase our dignity for the low, low price of $16 million. We need the cash." Now, I believe... What can I say? What can I say? Mr. Stephen loves to dance. Now, I believe that this kind of complicated financial settlement with a sitting government official has a technical name in legal circles. It's big fat bribe. Because this all comes as Paramount's owners are trying to get the Trump administration to approve the sale of our network to a new owner, Skydance. Not the music I was expecting. Okay. That was me dancing in the sky. And some of the TV typers out there are blogging that once Skydance gets CBS, the new owner's desire to please Trump could put pressure on late-night host and frequent Trump critic Stephen Colbert. Okay. But how are they going to put pressure on Stephen Colbert if they can't find him? My parents.
So right there, you see Stephen Colbert making a joke, but very serious, by the way, because see, Stephen Colbert was or still is a Trump critic. And in all honesty, a lot of the late night shows are very liberal leaning, right? You have Jimmy Kimmel, you have Jimmy Fallon, you have Stephen Colbert. Now, Jimmy Fallon is not all the way, in my opinion, a big critic of Trump compared to Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert. Let me kind of dissect this, give you my takeaways on this. So, did I see this coming? Yes. Why? Because the Late Show was never as political as I think it's been in the past year or two, or really since the Trump era. We see a lot of Democratic elected officials coming on the Late Show like that's their version of Gunfeld, how Gunfeld has his Late Show, but he has it on a news network. Now, you can say, well, CBS has a news platform too. They have 60 Minutes. They got the morning news. And then they have the look. CBS tries to put themselves in the versatile space where it's like, look, you get your news, you get your entertainment, and you also, get your sports. You get everything all in one, one build up. The part that I'm frustrated about is there are signs of this new administration trying to take over the media narrative. What I mean by that is hold on real quick. What I mean by that is PBS. I'm sorry. Like NPR, public media is at stake. Come on, public media, because everything that speaks against Trump is fake news and is a danger to society. And so public media is such an important piece in our way of getting news, especially for those that are in more rural areas. He's trying to take away public media. He's trying to end really liberal media. And don't get me wrong, what the issue that's wrong is you cannot continue to think that it's okay for when you have superiors telling their media platforms what to do, especially when it's. And so what kills me with this situation involving Trump and the media and how media companies and corporations are scared. And what I mean by that is that they're paying all the money they can. They're doing all of what he asked them to do. And it's just, it's trash in my opinion, because look, ever since this man got back in the office, what has he done? He has had only the media companies that kiss the ring and cater to him in the press rooms. Okay. You have mostly conservative media outlets. You have conservative podcast squads that are in the press secretary room, or excuse me, in the press room now. Majority of them are conservative, and majority of the I won't even say liberals, but those that speak, not in support of the president, he bans them. Okay, he prohibits them from coming in there, which is unfair. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't mind them having podcasts in the press room, because look, podcasters don't really compare themselves as journalists, but they were a huge piece in the recent presidential election. So I kind of get it. I think it's pretty I think it's cool that federal officials are incorporating the digital media space, right? And again, I mean, linear television, cable networks and cable television, that's depleting, and the rise of streaming is continuing to grow. But going back to Stephen Colbert, it's unfortunate because it, in my opinion, is it oozes a certain type of leadership that I think that is not safe for society. Because when you start shutting up media outlets that speak against you, to me, isn't there such thing as freedom of press? Ever heard of that? If you don't like what they see, well, guess what? Prove them wrong, sir. But as of right now, you can't prove them wrong. You can't, because your actions, what you have been doing is reason that's content for them. And Stephen Colbert puts comedy in. I enjoy the Stephen Colbert show. Now, did it get very political? Yes. And this is when I kind of turn the table. So now the reason why I can see why they risk canceling that show is because, yes, it got too political. I have friends that are as liberal can get. Even they would criticize the Late Show, saying, look, I'm very liberal, but it gets too political. Sometimes you just want to unwind, and the Late Show was all about entertainment and comedy, and that was the realm it stayed in, right? It was opportunity where, boom, you had comedians show off their chops, and then the next up and coming, that was the start of their career. It should have always been about entertainment, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to prevent folks from saying no. If Stephen Colbert wanted to lean to the political side, then hey, lean to that side. But you should have stayed in the entertainment space. Now, the big question is, what's going to be next for Stephen Colbert? Because Stephen Colbert was originally from Comedy Central. And yes, he was always involved in politics because he was a part of the Daily Show family that was led by Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart, who is somebody that is well respected on in entertainment, but also in politics. He has had folks on both sides of the aisle on his platforms. He is somebody that young people would always support and lean towards, at least having an understanding of issues happening in our world and in politics. He still has his platform. That is a part of Paramount. We don't see the Daily Show getting canceled. Now, does this mean that Steve Colbert could be heading back to Comedy Central, or could he lean towards one of these liberal networks? It could be done. As of right now, CNN has not been caught up in bending the knee like MSNBC has, ABC has. Now, I wouldn't call, ABC is more liberal than a Fox, but they're not as liberal as MSNBC. Before we move forward to our next story, let me go ahead and read you a little bit of this in contents. This is reported by Politico.com. Says Paramount agreed to pay Trump $16 million to settle a lawsuit over edits to an October 2024 interview conducted on CBS 60 Minutes with Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris, which was true. It was facts that they did edit the interview, which was unfair, right? Another reason that's probably hurt her campaign. Colbert frequently skewed Trump on his show, called the settlement a big fat bribe. Trump cheered to the end of the show recently on Truth Social, saying that he absolutely loves the decision. He says his talent even less than his ratings. He said, "I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next." That right there, I'm sorry, that is the most disgusting act, and I got a word in my head, but I'd rather not say. I'll let you predict what you think it is, but it is disgusting where he's like, like just it's a villainous role. He's next. Take him down. I mean, give me a break, dude. All because you just can't stand the fact when people correct you or talk bad about you. And that's okay. That's okay. Because guess what? You see a lot of independent media platforms growing because guess what? All these folks that were let go from these liberal networks that, look, they said, I'm not going to bend the knee. I'm going to say what's on my mind. I'm going to do what's right to my listeners or my viewers. We see it now with a Midas Touch as far as growing as a liberal independent media platform. Everybody's going independent. Joy Reid's going independent. Katie Fang's going independent. Don Lemon's going independent. Cuomo is building off his independent. Now he is on cable television, but he has a platform that he builds as an independent network. So many folks are going independent, right? But he's literally going after. Now, do y'all ever recall? I'll just say Barack Obama saying, "Hey, look, such and such needs to get fired, and I can't wait to get fired." No. Did you ever see Biden do it? Now, look, I'm not a mouthpiece for the Democrats. I'm not, because they're, in my opinion, shooting themselves in the foot with some of the way they're handling things nowadays, in my opinion. But you did not see, you don't get your competition or your competitors or your haters fired. You don't get your critics fired. Yeah, you can dislike them, but again, prove them wrong. See, that comes from a privileged mindset. That comes from a highly, highly privileged mindset to say, well, I'm gonna hit it where it hurts. Look, let's not forget. Let's not forget years back when Rosie O'Donnell was on The View, she had mocked uh he wasn't president at the time, but Donald Trump, who at that time was just a reality star, and she mocked him, and he wanted to sue her. I'm gonna sue her. I'm gonna sue her, and I'm gonna get money out of her fat behind pockets. I'm gonna sue her ass. That's what I'm gonna do. Like, oh my gosh, it's literally, it's so hilarious to me, y'all. But in addition to that, yeah, Trump is jumping for joy, and obviously, right now he needs some good news. I mean, let's just be honest. He has his own people, his own supporters, criticizing him, and he has the Republican Party, not getting along amongst each other, and it's a lot happening. So he's like, I just need some good news. So yes, Stephen Colbert is going to be let go. Thank God. Who's next? Okay, Jimmy Kimmel. He needs to go too. Look, these guys made plenty of money. You're not gonna hear the last of Stephen Colbert. You're not gonna hear the last of Jimmy Kimmel if, God forbid, anything happens to his program. Me personally, I hate when people play this this pettiness. I hate pettiness. As much as I can't stand those who are Trump supporters in the media space, I'm not a fan of those. I always respect other people's opinions, and they have the right to share their opinions and their thoughts, whether if it's liberal media, conservative media, or anybody. You have the right to share what's on your mind. So yeah, we're gonna disagree, but hey, you're in your right. You always need media on opposing lens so you can see it from their perspective. So if I say, well, I can easily say I'm not a fan of Gunfeld. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's funny at all, but I understand why there's a place for it. Old conservative people need a late night show. And that's where Gunfeld comes to play. That's where that show comes. So it's interesting. It's interesting, y'all. It really is. But we'll continue to read a little more on this platform, on this issue happening in the issues happening with CBS making this decision again. We'll hear a little more about it, but we will hear more from Stephen Colbert. Let me go ahead and digress from this, y'all. Moving on to more on the MAGA meltdown. The MAGA meltdown. I said mega meltdown. Lord have mercy. On the MAGA meltdown, listen to this. Listen to this here, where you have Trump supporters, y'all. You got Trump supporters out there speaking about their frustration of what's happening right now. Listen to this, y'all.
I feel really betrayed, and I feel really, really angry. We have a president who tells us to move on from Epstein because it doesn't matter. Are you guys still talking about this? Seriously? And yet he still talks about the 2020 election fraud. He talks about the Hunter Biden laptop. He talks about all this stuff from 5-6 years ago, and he tells us to move on from the Epstein trial or the Epstein case. People like me will not stop talking about this. I feel so betrayed and so angry. This is not what I voted for.
I'm concerned about being able to trust Donald Trump to keep his word. In his campaign, he said he was going to let us know all of the facts about this. And now he's saying, go away, don't pay attention to it.
These Epstein files, we were told that there was going to be released. There was this client list that was going to be released. And the fact that it's suddenly gone away and he's trying to gaslight us is like a punch in the gut to MAGA.
I feel really betrayed.
I'm sorry, man. It's funny to me. It's funny to me because now people are saying Trump is not keeping his word. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I gotta take a sip. I gotta take a sip of this H2O. Wow. That is funny. That is extremely funny, in my opinion. Why? Because for the longest, first of all, we didn't even have to say that Trump was not a truthful person, even though he has a media like a streaming platform called Truth Social. First of all, how many times have you witnessed folks that had spoken against him saying, I've supported him time and time again, and now look at the return, look at the response I get, look at the return I get. Michael Cohen, his freaking attorney, literally is on the tour. He's been on the longest running tour of speaking. Look, I'm trying to tell you, this man is the most dishonest, unloyal person there is. I've been trying to tell you, you have folks like Anthony Scaramucci, who worked in the administration for a very short period, but he worked in the administration. We have Alyssa Griffin, or Alyssa, I forget her name, but she's one of the co-hosts on The View. She worked in the Trump administration. She's still very much conservative. Come on, y'all. You got old man Withers, a former mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani, who continues to support, but yet he's getting the worst of it, losing all his funds, losing all this and all that. Like, it's just, what in the freaking My Pillow guy, he continues to speak in his, and he's hurt. Everybody's hurting here, y'all. Everybody's hurting here. And now you hear these folks that it's like a punch in the gut. And I mean, you lied. Like, we want to hear the files. You promised us this. And now Trump is saying, oh, that's a hoax. That's a Democratic hoax. That's all that is. That's a Democratic hoax. Look, did y'all hear what the press secretary Caroline Leavitt had to say in regards to I think a reporter had asked her about oh, hold on, let me go ahead and play this for you. She asked about the quote unquote hoax. Let me go and see if I can find this for you, because this just it I can't make this stuff up, y'all. I can't make this stuff up.
Thank you, Caroline. There's been a lot of discussion about the Epstein files and the president's comments yesterday calling it a hoax. Can you clarify which part of the Epstein hoax is the hoax part?
The president is referring to the fact that Democrats have now seized on this as if they ever wanted transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, which is an asinine suggestion for any Democrat to make.
From the story, but you do have some prominent figures, including the Senate Majority Leader, the House Speaker, voicing support for the files to come out. Representative Massey collecting signatures that would force a discharge petition for a vote on the floor for this. It doesn't seem to be going away. What is stopping the administration from just redacting any sensitive information, grand jury information, and putting out what is appropriate so that the American people can decide and then let this story die?
Well, in terms of redactions or grand jury seals, those are questions for the Department of Justice. Those are also questions for the judges who have that information under a seal. And that would have to be requested, and a judge would have to approve it. That's out of the president's control. Jackie.
Thank you, Caroline. There's been a lot of discussion.
Okay, so again, Caroline. She's there to make the president look good. She's there to not speak against, but to continue to be a mouthpiece for what the president tells her what to do and stuff. So hey, she's doing a great job at the young age. I think she's like 27, 28. That's just pretty. She's holding her own. Because remember, last administration, last Trump administration, he went through like 3 different press secretaries, if I'm not mistaken. But again, you keep on making up, oh, this is a hoax, this is that. No, you and the right MAGA, you guys brought that up. So now you're stuck in a corner. Literally. You just don't know what to do. And crap's hitting the fan for you. So once again, I say this: listen to the people. What are the people asking? The people are asking for the list. They want the list. They want the list. Well, y'all, why are y'all avoiding it? That's the big question. Why are they avoiding showing the list? Why are they? I just think it's interesting. And then again, it's really just a punch in the gut. It is a true punch in the gut. And it's hard to believe him. It's hard to believe him. I don't believe it. Is he a man of his word or is he not? I just don't know. Again, we have supporters. I mentioned Nick Fuentes. Woo! Nick Fuentes is I hate to bring that name again, but he's a critic now. He's not a fan. I believe his true words was, he said, "F you." And he was speaking to the president. He said it. Yeah, I ain't gonna say the actual word, but that's what he said. I'm like, ooh. That's a bit harsh, isn't it? Ouch. So it's not gonna continue to get any better. It's not gonna continue to get any better. We will see, but once again, let's see how the Democrats try to what's the word I'm looking for? Let's see how they try to utilize this. I mean, I guess right now what they're doing is they're in agreement with, a lot of the supporters. They're pushing for a release of the list. They're pushing for a release of the list. That's all they can do at this point. Release, and they're gonna continue to do that. And then on top of that, y'all, it couldn't be the timing. It's all about the timing. Look, we're coming up on midterms, y'all. Midterm elections. And we're talking about the list. The FC. I mean, like, wow. Like you just couldn't ask for better timing. At least, if I was a strategist on the left, you couldn't ask for better timing. If I was a strategist on the right, you couldn't ask for worse timing. And then it's interesting because there's so many folks now that are in supporting of Donald Trump on his frustration and the strategy, the tactic that he's doing now, or that he's using. I don't get it. I really don't. I'm gonna reach out to some of my conservative friends and Trump supporters, see what's going on in their minds. What is MAGA really? What are they discussing in some of their spaces? Excuse me. What are they discussing? I'm curious. I really am. My friends, look, we're gonna take a quick breather, quick commercial break. When we come back, we have a lot more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Do not go anywhere.
Jazera Learning Institute, LLC, is a hybrid learning center that strives to educate adults and children in all fields. During the day, we offer programs that are focused on developing students from pre-K to 12th grade, which includes tutoring, homeschool co-op, an after-school program, SAT, ACT prep, and many more engaging academic programs. Our adult education programs include workforce trainings, GED prep, life coaching, various seminars, and many more. Our vision is to train and educate in a positive way that will lead to a positive change in the world, one person at a time. For more information, visit us online at JazeranLearningInstitute.com or call us at 757-208-7407.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
rugged is the new smooth.
All right, my friends, welcome back to the show. Welcome back. So next up, I want to discuss here is I got some more to say about the right, but now I got to come after the left. Why? Because they are continuing to try and look for their next Joe Rogan. They're trying to find their liberal Joe Rogan. And I said from the get-go, good luck with that, because you will never have somebody with that. Well, actually, no, let me correct myself. Joe Rogan does have some competition on the podcast space right now, as I mentioned earlier. So a podcast called Midas Touch is two brothers who are building a independent liberal media company in front of our very eyes. They've brought on so many folks that have been either let go. I think they've partnered with Katie Fang, who was let go from MSNBC, or not let go, but left the network after her show was canceled. They have a large digital fan base, digital viewership, large numbers, large numbers, and they've been ahead of Joe Rogan for quite some time in the rankings. To me, it's like, okay, you need to follow behind those who are already have established a huge audience, right? Pod Save America, right? Those are from former guys that worked with, or former Obama folks that worked in his administration. They have a large presence. But here's the thing: what kills me with the left and kills me with the Democratic Party, why do you think you could just start a fresh new one and say, okay, we're gonna build this up into a big thing? You know, they're following behind their former DNC chair, Jamie Harrison. Now, don't get me wrong, I got nothing, I don't know him personally. He seemed like a really nice guy. He came close of I believe Jamie Harrison ran for either Senate out in Georgia. Came very close but lost, but then he ended up finding a new avenue, and he was a DNC chair for quite some time. Now, honestly, it wasn't a shocker that he left his position, his role as a DNC chair, because look, you raised damn near $1 billion and you lost a presidential race. The way this recent election went, the Democratic Party failed. They failed. Okay. I'm not going to go back into that spiel, but it was not a good look for you guys. So me personally, I feel as though it's not going to help the fact that you have the person who had led the committee during that time to say, okay, he's going to be the face of the he's going to be the new liberal Joe Rogan. No. First of all, get somebody that's relatable and not somebody that has been sharing the same kind of talking points that Democratic leaderships or elites have been sharing too long, which in my opinion is getting old. It's getting very old. So this reporter here from Zemafor.com says here, Democrats' former chair wants to save his party with a podcast. Good luck, buddy. The search for a liberal Joe Rogan, as I mentioned earlier, has led Democrats to an unlikely candidate, Jamie Harrison, their former party chair. Harrison has recently launched a podcast called At Our Table. It's an interview show he's been recording from his home in South Carolina and from the road, where he frequently spends time with the party's once and future stars. Okay. Quote here from Harrison says here, civic education in America is at an all-time low. He has some truth there. Shortly before meeting up with the Kentucky governor, Andy Beshear, the latest ambition Democrat to visit Harrison's home state ahead of its 2028 presidential primary, it's really important to start educating people about these processes that are so important in terms of determining who our leaders will be. The first episodes of At Our Table put Harrison next to the 2024 VP nominee Tim Walz, Maryland Governor Wes Moore, South Carolina Kingmaker, and Harrison's mentor, Representative James Clyburn, and Hunter Biden, the prodigal former first son, who has not spoken out since his father ended his last presidential bid. So I'm going to ask you all, the listeners, do you think it is a good idea for the former DNC chair, the most recent DNC chair, to be the savior of his party with this podcast? Do you think it will work? For one, do you even think it will work? Or do you think the left just needs to find a totally new young or totally new leader, someone that's already in the rise? Like, should they try and build it around those who's already leading, like a Jasmine Crockett, like a West? Well, should they focus on those leaders, or because those are leaders that are currently still elected officials, should they go outside of that realm and work with Jon Stewart? Should they just follow behind the Midas Touch podcast? Should they follow behind Pod Save America? What is the key for them to do? Because me personally, I don't think this is a winning tool. I don't think it's gonna. First of all, I don't think it's gonna get any numbers compared to a Joe Rogan. Like him or love him, Joe Rogan is I've shared it here many times on the show. He is a pioneer when it comes to podcasts. Agree with his views or disagree with his views. He is a pioneer, iconic, especially with his numbers. He was the first to really, sign these $100 million plus deals in podcasting. One of the first. So look, I get it. It's probably a safer way, and that's the issues happening in the Democratic Party. They lean towards folks that, it's just safe. He's been with us so long, rather than being behind somebody that is a fan favorite right now. Let's surround ourselves with those, or let's lead the person who is a very likable. Even some, never Trumper Republicans can say, okay, I enjoy listening or watching this person. I can lean towards them, rather than just saying, oh, let's go ahead and follow behind the former DNC chair. I don't know. And like I said, I have nothing against Jamie Harrison at all. He's probably an extremely very nice guy. I hope to have him on the pod here, but I just think that they should rethink. I think they're making a bad strategy. I think their strategy is not going to work in this case. Maybe they might need maybe the strategy is there, but they might need a new messenger, right? In my opinion, David Hogg. Yeah, the guy that y'all basically, even though he left on his own terms, but the guy that he sent out, they used to be your vice chair or co-vice chair. Between him or was it Malcolm Kenyatta? Well, no, I think Malcolm Kenyatta is also an elected. Is he? I think he is an elected or former elected official. So I don't know. I really don't know. It's interesting. It is interesting in my opinion. But we shall see, my friends. We shall see on how that turns out. Here's some questions that was asked. This was an interview that one of the folks from Zemafar had when they interviewed Jamie Harrison. They asked, how did this podcast, for one, come together, and what is the germ of the idea? Now, Jamie Harrison said, I've been thinking about doing this for a while. When I was DNC chair, I had the whole idea about a YouTube channel called DTV. I would anchor a podcast, and then we would have a number of other shows with Democratic elected officials and activists. The only thing we ended up doing was Welcome to the Party, my DNC podcast. Again, ideas there, but just it never capitalized, which is weird because there's a lot of money involved here. And one other thing too, friends, I'm not all the way there with when current elected officials or current sitting elected officials have podcasts and shows. The reason why is because I feel as though like you have got to show that you are in it to win it, as far as for your community, your area, this and that and the other. Having that podcast, yeah, it's another way of getting a message across. Maybe having doing some quick follow-ups on your digital space, but waiting at least until you're not in office or you're out of office until you want to do your own show and stuff. Like when I see current elected officials with their own programs, I'm not. It's something that's hard to explain it. It's kind of tacky. It looks as a sign of, hey, you're not doing the job of what you were elected to do. We didn't elect you to have a podcast. We elected you to, take care of these issues happening in our community. So do the work of, don't worry about being in front of a camera and lights, camera action, all that stuff. That's how I think about it. But hey, they can do whatever they want to when they're finished with office. When they're not in office, you have the freedom to do whatever. But when you're currently in that position, I just think you should focus just on that position and not other things like that. In addition to what Jamie Harrison had to say, he said very quickly, our folks said we don't have the bandwidth to do that. So we abandoned that effort. But as we saw from the 2024 elections, more and more people are getting their news from social media channels. First of all, them not having the bandwidth, I think that's a crock of bull. I think they have all the resources. How long has the Democratic Party been one of the top two powerhouse parties in there, especially the committee? Come on, y'all. They have the bandwidth. I'm pretty sure they have the bandwidth. And look, you don't have to start. You can start it on any kind of scale. If I can have a program here, and now look, I'm not on the scale of what they're trying to do, but I mean, I'm doing all right for myself. I'm doing all right. Now he says, I don't have anybody that I have to send anything to for approval. I can do whatever the hell I want to do. So, okay. So again, everybody thinks they're just trapped once they're in a bind when they're in that position. Interesting that they're going to be bringing Hunter Biden. I think that's going to be an interesting guest to have because there was so much back and forth with having him. Because Hunter Biden did break the law and had to suffer the consequences. Yet, he has been pardoned from his dad, which, hey, look, I'm pretty sure if any parent had that power, they would do the same thing to their child. But I'm trying to see how is having him as a guest on your show going to help build the Democratic Party. Seriously. Because me personally, if you're trying to bring back support in your Democratic voters, I really don't think they want to be bothered by Biden. I mean, personally, no disrespect, but I mean, hey, Biden teased the whole running for re-election thing, and then comes out that a lot of his staffers did see a decline, but didn't mention it. Liberal media also knew, and they were hiding it. Your son broke the law. All right. I don't get me quoted on the actual cases, but he did things that were, hey, he had to serve consequences for. So again, I don't think you bringing them on would help. I really don't know what kind of guests would benefit benefit your party. Maybe just talking about issues, possibly having Kamala Harris, saying, hey, look, any regrets that you have from the previous presidential race, that being honest up front is what's going to help, in my opinion, because a lot of folks are just, they're not truthful. They're not being truthful. And this is not just a badger the left. I'm just talking about it just based on because they're in this growing stage right now. But they're just not being honest and upfront with people. People are tired. People are frustrated. People don't want to see the old cookie cutter responses. They like saying, okay, come on, what we got to do? What we got to do? When they go high, you meet them eye to eye. When they go low, you meet them right at their level. You don't do the opposite. What kind of mess is that? No. That stuff is long gone, y'all. That stuff is long gone. Oh, my gosh. Look at the time, y'all. Look at the time. Y'all continue to tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. Weeknights available on all digital streaming platforms as well as on all radio airwaves. Peace and blessings. Y'all stay safe, stay informed. I will talk to y'all soon for another great episode here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.